Welcome back to Slanted Chalk, where regular dads raising competitive junior athletes tell the truth about the grind. In part 2, Freddie opens up about the hardest part of this journey, trusting strangers with the son you've poured your whole life into. This is a father fighting for his kid in a system that wasn't built for families like theirs. The doubt, the closed doors, the culture gap, all of it. And then the moment a 15-year-old Lucky Cruz proved he belonged, dropping a 66 at Q School and changing everything. Let's dive right in.
Before I talk about Q School, let me talk about the interactions with the coaches and stuff for parents to know this. It is really hard for a minority, whether Asian, whatever, and whatever family background you come from. If you're not the top 10 on that AJGA list and your dad's not managing a hedge fund for $200 or $300 million, it is a fight to get your son noticed, recruited, and welcome to a program. And it's really hard to swallow that pill because this is our child. This is who we love unconditionally. And we're handing them to a grown man, a program to the world. And now we have to trust them that they do their job and produce a good man. Not just a good golfer, but a good man. Like, that's really important to me. It's like, it's just, it is what it is. It just is. So in the recruiting process, I started having a really difficult time trusting these coaches with that responsibility because we're not from the same cloth. Here I am, I live on a farm with kids, a kid with disabled, and grow up in a country club. I don't have friends that's named Biff or Tom or Ben. I don't have, you know what I mean? It's an analogy.
100%.
Right? So how do we navigate this space, right? And at the same time, I have all the HBCU coaches, like from underrated, breathing down our neck. I had Howard constantly using, Will Lowry. They're using Will Lowry to recruit Lucky through me and Will Lowry's relationship. At times it's rocky, but I respect Will Lowry. I understand what he's trying to do, and I understand what the platform was about. But at the end of the day, this is about my son. It's not about your program. It's about my son. So what I would tell people is that if you can go to the camps and you can somehow circumvent those aspects of the money, the country clubs, the things like Arizona, for example, like, Arizona State University, Coach Thurman, he goes to Spain to recruit. Why does he go to Spain? His favorite trip to Spain is Spain, Rome, and then he does the turnaround, he comes back. And when he does the turnaround, he comes back with the number one golfer in Spain, right? Or China with Wiggy Ting, right? Turn pro.
Wing
right?
Yi, yep.
Wing Wee, yeah, right? And his father, believe it or not, his father's similar to us, man. Like, I know Jim, who's a good friend of mine, who's friends with his father, cut from the same thread. Hardworking family, son is, so much potential. So it's just really hard for them. And these coaches are not riding what's happening with the world of golf. They're not riding this wave, right? So you have all these kids now that have access. You have underrated. You have, the Nota Begay. You have, there's tournaments in Tennessee. You have the Toyota Tour. You have all these outlets for these guys outside of AJGA that you can go and recruit a kid and actually just do the work. Go, when I went to school and I played ball at school, the coach drove to my house, met my mom before I got in the van, and was like, they developed the relationship with these people. They spend the money to recruit. These coaches in the golf space have this luxury of just taking a piece of paper and be like, yeah, let's call these guys and let's see if they want to come. And that's it. And after COVID, it became worse, right? But at the same time, you have all these magnificent kids who are diverse, like that can play golf, have great parents, have a great foundation, have everything that the checkbox, right? You hear on these college podcasts, they post all the time when these coaches come on there and they give you the $1 million political speech, right? You hear it, right? We want good parents, good attitude. We watch and sees the emotion when he has a bad shot. All these things, but it's really not. It's really not that. No, it's not. You know, they want compliant parents who make a lot of money, and do you fit the nomenclature and the culture of our school, right? So if it's, you know, if it's UT, you got to make a lot of money. You got to be in Coach Field's grace. You got to be amongst all the Longhorns. They got to like you, and you got to get through that window, and they accept you. You're in, right? That's why you'll see a lot of no-name guys that come out of nowhere playing for UT, and you're like, where did he come from? I don't remember him at junior golf, right? Same thing at Cal. Same thing at a lot of these schools. You know, Stanford's one of them, right? They know who they want. So now you're competing with their want list without a relationship. You know, like if coaches knew me, right? You know me, obviously, but like, you know, Horace knows me. People know me, right? Outside of the world of arguing about fairness and doing what's right and the integrity of the game, because I've embodied that, and I'm a person who's very blunt on the integrity of the game, right? It's very difficult. I feel like these coaches have to step up with what's going on in society right now and the culture. Like these kids are coming to play, you know, and they're ready to play, and you're not giving them the opportunity. So what happens? They're stuck. And no knock to HBCUs, but they're stuck 1 year, 2 year HBCU. Then they have to transfer in the transfer portal and then make it to a UT Tyler and make it to somewhere else, right? And or go to JUCO, you know, and get washed up in that JUCO cycle, and then hopefully go to, if you don't go to the right JUCO, or go to a Division III school and then accept that, or D2 school, accept that. But if you're not in the right program that's going to nurture you to your goals, it doesn't matter. It's like so hard. It's so hard. So I would, you know, throw all the divisions out. If we could say, if your kid is going to the right coach, the right program, and he's happy to wear the colors, then you did a good job, and you're good. You're solid. You should be very proud of that, right? And for
Absolutely.
us, we didn't get that experience. You know, Lucky really wanted to play for Coach JP at UNLV. I'll say that. We had interactions with the coach at UT at the Big 12 Championship, who pointed at him and said, I know who you are. And he just said, go to school for a year and then transfer over. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why don't you just recruit us right now? Like, let's take us right now. We're willing. But so now we're at Q school. We're sitting in 27th. Shoots even par, 73. I think 73, were the last day, shoots 66 at Golf Club of Cali. The lowest round of Q School, jumps in the top 10, gets full status. Now, let me mind you, we're playing with Ben Thomas, who played at Oregon, won a national championship, right? Who else were we playing? We're playing with Mike Herrera. You know Mike Herrera, from, you know, he's doing real well on the Asian tour. He's actually climbing the ranks. He's doing really well. We played with Derek, another solid professional. Like, these are grown-ass men, you know, from 25 to 32 years old, chasing the tour, paying their bills with this money. And here we are with our RV and our bus, you know, and a 15, 16-year-old kid coming out, dropping a 66, the lowest of the round, right? And it was funny because, you know, during Q School, nobody talked to us at all. Like, we were like a pimple on everybody, because it was like,
oh, you're just taking someone's spot. Yeah.
right. That's how they saw it. Right.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, and then the last day he shoots 66, and then he gets his card, and then you just see an array of guys, like 14 guys, just flood Lucky, introduce themselves, shake hands, and okay, now we have a community, right? And now this is what it's supposed to be like. So, you know, we get done with that tournament, and I have to drive from La Jolla, right, all the way to Niagara Falls in 2 days, because we're playing in the Porter Cup, which is a collegiate ranked event, and it's for top players who are amateurs. And we were the only non-collegiate player playing in that event that were invited to play. So we drove all the way across, 32, 34 hours in the chair. We get there, you know, tournament wasn't that great, but we met some fantastic people. And then we're on to, I think the next event was underrated Notre Dame. And then after that,
yep.
after underrated Notre Dame, we had the PGA Championship. We were on the road that series 9 weeks on the road. Yeah, I made a joke. I told the guys like I don't even know how long my grass has grown. Like I know they're my in-laws are feeding the chickens and all that. I hope they cut the grass, but if not, the grass is going to be really high when I get home. So so we went from boom 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 and it was hard. In the last three tournaments besides Notre Dame, he played well, shot at 67, I think last day Notre Dame to jump up.
Yep.
PGA Junior Championship was a slaughterhouse. We've never played such a hard course, and those kids were there a couple weeks early, getting ready for that event.
Yep.
We just drove in, like I told you, RV park, boom, one day, and Congressional Blue is it's if NASCAR could build a golf course, that's what it looks like. The fairways are banked so hard it looks like a NASCAR turn, right? And everything's a blind shot, and it was just really, really hard. And that was another event. We talked to a lot of coaches, and they were like, "Well, you're going to Houston." We're like, "No, we're not going to Houston. What's going on?" Right? So it was a little bit. The recruiting process was it's a little hit or miss for me. I really didn't like it. But the problem is, we came there with a plan. He's a player. He wants to turn professional. He wants to get his degree. He's taking online classes now. He wants to graduate in 2 years. He wants to get his degree. He wants to win a national championship, and he wants to turn pro. I mean, this is what's the standard SOP for us to every coach. And it was like speaking in kryptonite to these guys. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear he wanted to turn pro. They didn't want to hear that he wanted to win a national championship. All they wanted him to do was go there and be there as a 4 or 5 year student and then turn pro. So that just didn't fit our plan. It didn't fit it. So at the PGA Junior Championship, and this is kind of what's kind of sealed the deal for us in a conversation about turning pro. We saw Gustavo, coach at Arkansas, and we're like, man, we want to go. He's like, man, we just don't have room. And then we'd like to have Lucky, but we just don't have room. We don't have money for him. I said, great. And he said, look, Fred, I know you. I know Lucky. I know your story. I know your whole family. He's like, Lucky should turn pro. He's like, flat out. He's like, you guys have NIL money with Black Clover. You have sponsors. You're doing the thing that a professional does already. He's like, so you coming into a school is only going to slow Lucky down, and it might hurt Lucky rather than help Lucky. And when he said that, and I respect the guy a lot. I mean, coach at Houston, now coach at Arkansas. So then we had a conversation at Lucky with Lucky on the way back, and he said, "No, Dad, I think I want to turn pro." And I said, "Okay, well, here's the agreement. The agreement is you go to school online, and you turn pro, and we go and get after it." So Stanford, being Stanford, has a really kick-ass online college program. So we enrolled him at Stanford. He's taking one class, so he's still a Stanford student, and we're playing professional golf.
That closes out part 2 with Fred Cruz. At the end of the day, this isn't just recruiting or rankings. It's a father trying to protect his son while letting him grow into the man he's meant to be. You can feel the love, the fear, the fight, and the pride when Lucky finally forced the world to see him. In part 3, we get into the biggest decision of all. Skipping the college route, turning pro, and building a path that belongs to their family and no one else. Please like and subscribe and leave comments. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, and remember, you can't want it more.